Video games, according to a loud minority, are now woke. They're being taken over by women, black and brown people, gay people, and more. AKA anybody that looks different from the people that are whining about them. The word woke has been around since at least around the 30s and strictly referred to racial discrimination or prejudice, being used in the phrase stay woke, meaning stay aware about the world around you. Therefore, the origin has a more political background. I know language can change over time, but the change isn't just some sort of watered down meaning for colloquialism. It is a very clear agenda to bastardize the meaning of the word for, yeah, an obviously nefarious purpose. Woke isn't bad, but due to the bastardization of the word, people think it is. Now, video games have changed over the years, but not by much. But even so, that's not a bad thing either. Games have always been what the loud minority considers woke. Literally always. The majority of these people that complain don't even actually play the games, nor do they care about video games at their core. Most of them pass judgment just from the look of the game's characters or the developers behind it. But reactionary baiting and being negative brings the clicks and the views. Simply put, they are grifters. To start, there are absolutely notorious grifters, but I'm not here to talk about individuals. I'm here to talk about the grifting of woke video games in its entirety. So let's take a look at some of the prime examples of what grifters consider woke. And despite grifters being a loud minority, I am absolutely certain that if you've played video games and are at least online, maybe semi-frequently, you've seen one of these examples. In Silent Hill 2's remake, there was a controversy about the neon sign on the wall looking pregnant, but it was basically the same as the original, which people would know if they played the original game. There were also complaints of Angela not being attractive enough, but Angela is a victim of SA. She doesn't want to be considered attractive. She barely wants to be perceived. And the fact that grifters took her appearance and ran with it like that further proves her right all along. She was right to be scared. Pronouns in Starfield. I kid you not, this dude had an entire meltdown because pronouns were an option in the game. For like a minute or so. Not even a minute, maybe 20 seconds. Since then, the video was apparently deleted, but of course people re-uploaded it.
Hey, do you know what I love? Hey, Bethesda. Oi, cow, shut your fucking cake hole. Hey, Bethesda, I just want to say something to you. Bethesda, I just want to say something to you, Bethesda. Just want to say a little something. There is nothing I love more. Taking my headphones off, fuck that. Bethesda, there is nothing I love more than to sit down, comfy chair, turn on my PC, fire up a brand new RPG, lose myself, think, oh my god, just think of this world, just think of all the planets I can visit, all the immersive things that I can get involved with, all the fights, all the relationships, all the people I meet, all the places I go. I'm so excited to go there. And you know, I love nothing more than, with all of that laid out in front of me, I love nothing more than to be dragged out at every fucking conceivable opportunity so you can fucking current day us. Sorry, did you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what? Fucking pronouns! Fucking gender ambiguity! Fucking current day Californian shit! Because that's all we fucking know! Because we're boring! We're so fucking boring!
So you mean to tell me in this RPG there is rich lore, entire planets, fleshed out characters, but a screen you one time see during character creation is enough to make you that angry? When I see people get this angry, like forehead, veins bulging and everything, it makes me so uncomfortable. So to see that in real time watching this video, dude, I think you need to take a lap outside. There was also the Assassin's Creed Shadows controversy where people were upset at the thought of a black man being in Japan, masquerading as a samurai and harming Japanese people. Now, there are multiple things wrong with this. Number one, Yasuke was considered a samurai, which isn't up for debate. He served under Oda Nobunaga, who accepted him as an attendant and was given the rank of samurai. Even in Japanese culture, actual Japanese culture, Yasuke has been recognized, no matter how many people LARPing as Japanese don't want that. Even if he wasn't, though, the Assassin's Creed series has a number of outlandish things. For example, in Assassin's Creed 2, you literally have a boss fight with the Pope.
It's over, Rodrigo. No more tricks. No more ancient artifacts. No more weapons. Let us see what you are made of, old man.
Number 2. You don't just play as Yasuke. There is a whole other character, a Japanese woman, that you can play as. However, the heavy focus on Yasuke is obviously because of his race. There really isn't any other reason. Number 3. The controversy is absolutely manufactured because these people never said a thing about the Resident Evil series having Leon slaughter a bunch of villagers and civilians in Spain, nor Chris slaughtering a bunch of civilians in Africa. The game's purpose is more than that, which is why they hold up well and are still appreciated by most people. Now, despite those games being woke, they did fantastic, but you always hear or see, go woke, go broke. That's not even remotely true for those games, and even more so about a ton of other video games that are supposedly woke. Silent Hill 2 was received pretty well during its original release, but for it being the first modern remake of the series in 2024, it had overwhelmingly positive reviews. It even sold over 1 million units within 4 days of its release, making it the fastest selling game in the entire series. And that was before another supposedly woke game from the series surpassed that record, Silent Hill F. Assassin's Creed Shadows also did great in reviews, had 3 million players within a week, and had the second highest day one sales in the franchise behind Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Ghost of Yote, again, great reviews, sold over 3 million units within a month, and even outperformed the original game, Ghost of Tsushima. And whether games are woke or not, it ultimately doesn't matter. Layoffs happen in this industry whether they're woke or not. For example, Battlefield 6 was the highest selling game in the US for 2025, up there with titles like NBA 2K26, Borderlands 4, and Monster Hunter Wilds. But despite that, EA just announced that they're laying off staff from all of the Battlefield studios. Listen, video games have always been woke. Some of the most legendary games have been woke. Silent Hill 3 with Cheryl, a sassy young woman for a protagonist who takes on enemies from a whole other dimension to end a fate that she was specifically chosen for. The Mass Effect series had same-sex relationships, interspecies relationships, badass women like Miranda, Tali, Ashley, and even Jack, who looks similar to the main character in Naughty Dog's upcoming game, Intergalactic, that grifters have also been calling woke. She had a small chest, a shit ton of tattoos, she was bald, loud, and at the very least written pansexual before they had to back out of it due to pressure from Fox News. It's even been anti-xenophobic.
If anyone has to take over for Captain Anderson, I'm glad it's you. I'm not sure about having non-humans on our ship, though.
We're all on the same team here, Presley.
With all due respect, sir, that's what they said about Nihilus. Look how that turned out.
I'm in charge here, Presley. I decide if we have non-humans on this vessel.
Yes, sir. Understood, sir.
Yep, and even Grand Theft Auto San Andreas had San Fierro decorated with pride flags. And let's not forget, the Grand Theft Auto 4 game had the Ballad of Gay Tony. We also have BioShock Infinite reminding players of how corrupt American propaganda truly was, but also had an entire scene where an interracial couple gets entered into a racist raffle. But ultimately, no matter what you choose, you cannot hurt the couple. Instead, you take down the racists enforcing the raffle in the first place. Even behind the scenes in gaming, you'll find woke demographics. So in honor of Women's Month, here are some women that have worked on some of the most popular games in history. Amy Hennig was the director and scriptwriter for games like Jak and Dexter, but also Uncharted. Chlorine Yu was a programmer for games like Borderlands and Quake. And Kim Swift was a game designer for games like Portal and Left 4 Dead. Now, the real meat of the grifter issue is that they hate consultation firms. By the way, they exist in basically every industry ever. Does Sweet Baby Inc. ring a bell? It's been clickbaited and ragged on a ton, but if you look further than service level, you'll see that grifters really hate it for no reason. They do not shoehorn in identity politics or Turn games gay like grifters suggest. They are just a consultation firm, and game companies hire them, but it is not mandatory. They don't force anything to go on in these games. There's just no way that they could. I just know that plenty of employees working under them have gotten harassed over these claims, which obviously is not okay. That, and people flat out refuse to play certain games if they see that they've been worked on by them. But they've worked on a number of successful titles, like Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Alan Wake 2, South of Midnight, God of War Ragnarok, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which we literally mentioned earlier. They have also worked with much smaller indie titles like Tales of Zal, Kenzera, which I actually played and I really enjoyed. It's a game written about the developer, Abu Bakr Salim, and his African heritage as a tribute to his father, who sadly passed away. However, he received backlash because grifters were just too stupid to research why his game partnered for Sweet Baby Inc. It was not for cultural accuracy on his own culture, it was for narrative writing, for the story. To further show just how ridiculous grifters can be, here's a few more ludicrous examples of the kind of stuff that goes on. There is, yes, an entire DEI detected site and Steam group dedicated to boycotting woke games. It's based on levels, and God, this is something that I could imagine some edgy teenager doing. There is also this very weird trend where guys will complain that women are just not hot enough in games, therefore they are woke and they are unable to play them. I just cannot take any of these edits seriously because you're just adding huge boobs or makeup or long hair. That adds nothing of value. And yeah, while they're grifters, I just can't imagine being this fucking stupid. If the protagonist being fuckable is what made the game playable in the first place, the average man in a video game would be cooked. So what if the roles were reversed and the men were sexed up? Is this, maybe this is their end goal. Maybe this is what they want. I don't know. Now, what makes a video game good? Well, for me personally, and the majority of normal people, we care about things like a solid story getting delivered, fleshed out characters, replay value by grinding for unlockables, achievement hunting, the ability to play with friends, and a lot more. Games aren't just a one-way type of thing for a lot of us. There's beauty in so many different genres and so many different types of games. I've also played games since I was a kid because my dad was really big into technology because he just didn't have a lot of it growing up. He played a lot of PlayStation, so naturally I did too. I was introduced to Tomb Raider and Serious Sam, and I loved playing Serious Sam with him. Then I moved to PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Xbox One, then eventually PC to accidentally become a streamer. And even on hand, I grew up with devices like the Game Boy Advance SP, but I also, of course, bought a Nintendo Switch in my early 20s. Then I also had my Nintendo DSi growing up as well. Any form of video games, I absolutely loved. I just did. But my favorite video game series of all time is Mass Effect because it is a rich RPG with a super in-depth world of characters, planets, culture, history, great customization, great combat in the later games, weapons and powers, and a fantastical music score. I've played it about 5 or 6 times over, and I remember a good majority of even some of the most obscure voice lines.
Further manipulation of that object is grounds for further admonishment. Really? You must stop touching it. Once more, the Solarian Union formally requests that you not touch that. Fine. If you are so enamored of that object, then I suggest you get your own feces analyzer. We've already been down that road. No more.
That is all I have for today's video. I just genuinely love gaming, and it is a huge comfort to me. It just sucks that a large part of online culture has mingled in and grifters are out in full force nowadays. And although this channel is secondary to me, I primarily stream and upload gaming content on my main YouTube channel if you would like to support. It is mostly horror content though. I'd love it if you guys could sub to both channels and stop by. I manage all of my own content, so all the scripts, editing, uploading, and more is all done by me. as a human. No AI either. It's just me overworking myself. Please help. And I think I do a pretty good job, so I think you should check it out. I will see you later, pals.